Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Alenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Good afternoon, Tamara. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I guess I always like to start with having the guests introduce themselves because I like to hear from your words, like who you are, what's important to you, like the highlights to come from the guest.
Okay, so not just the elevator speech, but like the highlights of who I am. I love that. And I love not preparing an introduction like this because who am I today is different from who I was 2 weeks ago or a year ago or 10 years ago for sure. So I'm Tamara Zoner, and I am a speaker and a coach, and I'm on a mission to create a better world, one happier person at a time. And the highlight in that for me is helping people really cultivate a deeper relationship with themselves first, and then others, so that actually they can cultivate deep relationships with others once we know who we are, what drives us, what matters, what lights us up, and we love ourselves, all of us. Then we can bring that into the relationships, and those become like better than we can imagine. And that's the essence of who I am. And then the facts of who I am is I'm a mom of 3 teenagers. Two are now college age and one entering his sophomore year in high school. I live on a lake, as I was just telling you, and I love to have a ton of fun. And this life that I take responsibility for creating allows me to do a lot of that. So
Great. I like that you start with like yourself first because I feel like in this world, a lot of people seek outside validation. Like I know for myself as being I was, people pleaser, I would always be like molding myself to kind of like fit with who I was with and like to be pleasing to them. And it like I definitely found myself feeling lost of like who am I actually?
yeah.
So
Yeah, who are you when you're constantly putting on a different outfit to serve whoever you're surrounding yourself with, right? I think I've spent really the last 10 years being who I am in any situation. And that's a practice because for so long I did the same thing. For so long I tried to be someone I wasn't for the person I was with, just trying to make the peace or make it good or just avoid it being bad or fitting in. And then when none of it worked, I came home to me and figured, okay, if people pleasing doesn't work with the one person I spend the most time with, then who am I really here to please? Well, frankly, it's me. And then when I start being myself in every situation, then the people who really, truly, authentically adore me stick around. And those people are way, way more fun to be with.
for sure. Yeah, I think so often people are willing to settle for just who's there, what's there, because the idea of no one being there, kind of thing. But like once you actually know what it's like to be around people that really are there for you, it's
Yes.
a completely different thing. And you're no longer afraid of that happening.
Right. And I'd rather spend the night at home alone than be with a bunch of people who make me feel lonely and like small. I want to be with the people who see me, who are willing to be seen by me, and who I can be the like I like to say the dirtiest version of myself with. So if it's a bad day, I can say that, if it's a great day, I can say that. And we're all just comfortable enough in our own skins to be with each other all the way as who we are, not who we're trying to be. And to me, that's just like, if I have to fake it in any way, shape, or form, I don't want to be there. Yeah.
How do you help people through, I guess kind of what we've now dubbed shadow
Mhm.
work, the part of themselves that they're just like, oh, I don't like this part of me. Like it's icky. I just like I want that part to be gone. Like because like we all are like, I just want to be like so like squeaky clean, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not, we're human. So one of the ways that I help people, like, this is why I say I help people cultivate deeper relationships with themselves first, because there are lots of parts of us that we don't really like or accept or embrace. And so really we start there. And this is a process. So it's going to sound a lot easier said than done, but it's really about doing the deeper inner critic work that allows you to kind of make friends with that bully of a voice that's inside of every single one of us, and learn how your brain actually works and why that voice is there and what it's actually, it thinks it's protecting you. It's really doing its best for us, but its best keeps us in whatever we're familiar with, which sometimes isn't very good. And it might be the most comfortable place is the discomfort of the known, right? So that's where we start really kind of digging into that voice, what it's telling us, what is it protecting us from. So if I keep sabotaging myself from that, like potentially great relationship or even a career, a promotion, and I just keep messing things up, wondering, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep this? It keeps happening. Then we, instead of beating ourselves up and asking those questions, which aren't helpful or supportive, we start saying, well, what am I protecting myself from? Totally different picture comes to light when we ask ourselves, what am I trying to protect myself from? So, what is that inner critic, that shadow hiding for me? And now, can I shine a little light on it, give a little love to it, and start really speaking and relating to myself in a new, kinder, more compassionate way?
Yeah, I definitely have found for myself when I stopped like taking jabs at the parts that I didn't like so much and like showed myself a little bit more compassion. Um and like kind of yeah, like you said, seeing it as being like, okay, well, you're trying to protect me as opposed to like you're my myself is the villain here in this story kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make like so much more of a difference because you're not combating yourself anymore. Like you're on
Right.
the same team, right?
Yeah, you're on the same team, even from silly things. Like I'm a really clumsy person, right? And I drop things all the time. I literally throw my phone across the room. And where years ago I might have been like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Why am I so clumsy? I'm such an idiot. Today, I can laugh at myself in those moments. I have a very strong protective case on my phone for that very reason. I accept that part of me. And now I can laugh with myself and just be like, oh, that's who I am. But again, that's a practice of switching the script from, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? To, oh my gosh, look at what I just did. So it's not about who I am, it's the behavior that's happening, right? I might be the one doing the behavior, but it's like, oh my gosh, oh, I just dropped a glass and it shattered everywhere. Used to be, oh, what an idiot. Now it's like, oh, what an accident. Oops, I'm human.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and also it's just like, yeah, there's just so much of our energy so often is like just going into this negative place.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I guess like sometimes, obviously it's not easy to break that. What advice do you have for people to like just stop going into constantly this negative self-talk place?
Yeah, know that it is actually the way the brain is wired. we have a negativity bias. So it's not your fault. It's the way literally we are all programmed. And so it is a practice and it's one day, one thought at a time. So I love to teach my clients, the parts about the brain that you don't know that are hurting you so that you can become more aware of them. So now we know that we have on average 60,000 thoughts a day and 80% of those are negative. That's the average person's brain. So now you don't have to make it so personal. First of all, oh, that's like average people. I'm probably an average person. So it's normal for me to have 80% of my thoughts be negative. No wonder I'm exhausted at the end of the day. Right? Because it drags us down, it drags our energy down. So now that I know that, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? I can notice and become more aware of when I do have a negative thought, especially if it's hurtful towards self. And then one of the tricks of the trade of happiness is to outweigh the one negative with three positives. And it doesn't even have to be related. If I think, wow, I'm such an idiot, then I can say, oh, wow, isn't that glass all over the floor pretty? Right? It's so shiny. Or the weather is gorgeous today, or my partner loves me, or my dog loves me. Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. Just find three positive things to outweigh the negative and slowly over time. Remember, it's a practice. So it's day by day, step by step. We practice this over and over and over, and slowly we begin to not be the average anymore, but with practice and devotion to the practice, we start having fewer and fewer negative thoughts, or we just don't linger there as long because now we're constantly on the lookout for something better than that negative thought. And that's another practice, is to look for the good. Like,
Nice.
it's there. So just look around every day, maybe 3 times a day. Look for three positives in your life.
Yeah, I like that you're starting with like it doesn't have to be like that you're turning things around from what you just thought. Like it's not like you're just like because then you're sometimes you start arguing with yourself. It's like
Yeah.
that's not true. Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Like kind of thing. But you're just like, hey, what is good right now?
Yeah, I like to make progress in teeny tiny baby steps because that's sustainable. If we think we're going to go from being a negative Nancy today to like the happiest person on earth tomorrow, that's not realistic. And I want your change to stick. So we take it one breath, one day at a time, one baby step gets us there faster than trying to make a big giant leap. And that goes with any change we're trying to do too, not just happiness, which is my jam, but if it's fitness or weight loss or new healthier habits of screen time, baby steps. So I'm not going to go, oh, well, today I'm never going to touch my phone. I'm not going to scroll. I'm going to go off social media. We all have seen those people. I'm off of social media for 2 weeks. The next day you see them. I'm going to go off social media. Okay. No, how about you limit it to 2 hours instead of 4 hours? Or you put a timer on your phone in the morning. You can scroll for 5 minutes, but then you got to get up and make the coffee or whatever. So like incremental changes are going to be so much easier than trying to take a giant leap and do it all at once. It doesn't work. Our brains can't handle it. It's too uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, as someone who like so many times like growing like in my 20s and stuff like that would just be like, okay, Monday, I'm doing this and this and this. And you're just like, you're so overwhelmed with and you're like, it's like 2 days later, and you're like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. That's why like most people fail at New Year's resolutions and fail at a lot of new starts because we try to go too big, too strong, too soon. And if we just take it down to the tiniest scale, like we would expect a toddler to do, then we have hope.
We're all just big toddlers.
We are just, our brains are literal toddlers. They're just babies and they don't know anything different from what we tell it. So we got to just be nice and patient with ourselves. And it helps to have, I'm an ambitious person and I always encourage people to have, big ambitions and starting small. Like, let's be real about what we can do today, tomorrow, this week, and not expect ourselves to be where we might be in a year tomorrow. Yeah.
What advice do you have for people that maybe have like family that is not supporting their betterment and maybe are like super negative, maybe are critical? What advice do you have for them, like about like how to shield themselves from others that might be hurting them?
This is a big one because we can't always control who's around us, right? Maybe we have negative colleagues. Maybe we're in a family like I was in the past where that person you spend the most time with is the number one negative person in your life. I chose to leave that marriage. Not everybody's going to choose to leave. So, what can you do is to begin to set some healthier, safer, clear boundaries. And that can be as simple as if you keep pointing out everything negative, I'm going to leave the room. Or on a phone call with, say, your mom, right? A lot of us have some negative moms, and maybe they call and complain about everything, 3 times a week. Well, we can say, hey, in such a loving way. So, my boundaries that I want people to set are loving boundaries, loving to you, loving to me. In fact, I like to keep in the back of my head this phrase: I love you and I love me. I love you and I love me. So I hear that you're going through a really hard time, and I am totally willing to listen to you vent for the next 5 minutes. And then let me know if you want a solution or if it's just time to say goodbye. Yeah. And this is also a practice. Like, this is a hard practice. And I've had to practice really firm, loving boundaries with my own mother, with my own brothers, with my whole entire family, because I like to say I'm the black sheep of my family. They all think one certain way, lean one certain way, and I'm totally the opposite. And yet I love them and want to be able to spend time with them. So, especially, and some of your listeners may experience this in the upcoming months with an election, where maybe you vote differently from the rest of the people that you love in your life, like I do. And then you get to say, hey, I know this is something you're passionate about talking about, and I love you and want to be able to spend time with you. So either we can change the subject, I can leave, or do you have another offer? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, even like my mom, we are like on the same side politically, but it just becomes like, let's just talk about this all the time kind of thing. And you're just like, I don't want all of our conversations to be political kind of
yeah, and
thing.
then you can set that boundary too. Hey, let's jam on this for 5 minutes. And then, you know what I'd love to talk about is the walk I took through the park the other day,
Yeah.
or my kids, or my new favorite hobby. Something that is a little more lighthearted and that brings us closer instead of like feeling more stress in our lives, because we don't need more stress in our lives.
No, no, we're already so overrun with stress.
Yeah, which is why boundaries, I like to say too, a lot of people are afraid of setting boundaries. And I've even had clients tell me that they feel mean if they set a clear boundary, like they're being mean to that person. And I said, that's why I love to use that phrase, I love you and I love me, because we're setting a loving boundary here. But boundaries provide structure, which provide safety. When we know what to expect and we set that clear expectation with others and they know what to expect from us, we all feel safer in the relationship. And that goes for yourself too. That goes for yourself too. Like, that 5 minutes of scrolling is a boundary you can set with yourself. So, you still get to have that like little free time. And there's a boundary that gets you productive in your day, right? You can still eat 3 Doritos or a piece of dark chocolate, but there's a boundary there that lets you play and also keeps you safe and moving forward in your life.
Mhm. What what do you say to people that both in your own, I guess, in your own life, if you have anyone that doesn't maybe see boundaries as like a good thing? I mean, obviously, like you can then obviously hang up the phone kind of thing. But just is there a way to like communicate that like this boundary is to better your relationship kind of thing?
You can totally be upfront about that. Like I do with my family. It's like, look, I love you and I want to be able to spend time with you. So if the conversation about this is more important than our relationship, then I know where I stand. And this is not easy. I'm not saying this is easy. This can be really, really hard and emotional. This is why it's helpful to have a support, a coach or a best friend or just somebody you can really trust and talk to about this stuff. Therapists are great too. I love them. And it is a daily practice. So it's just like if we're teaching a toddler again or a teenager that this is the rule, we've got to be the ones that hold fast to that rule. And no matter how far they try to shake it, bend it, break it, we hold firm. This is my boundary today, just like it was yesterday. Then tomorrow they try again to shake it or break it. This is my boundary. So you've got to practice being firm in that boundary and knowing why you're setting it because I love you, because I love me. I want us to have this relationship and I don't want to have this conversation all the time, whatever it is. So it is a daily setting of that same boundary. It takes patience. It takes repetition. But over time, and sometimes that time is years, depending on the person or the relationship, they get it. But if we let it down, then they're like, oh, she didn't mean it. Ha, I can keep doing this thing that I've always done because she didn't mean it. We teach people how to treat us. And if we want really loving treatment in our lives, positive treatment in our lives, even friendly treatment in our lives, then we've got to hold fast to the rules of engagement for ourselves so that other people learn what we'll tolerate or what we won't.
Yeah, a lot of people grow up not understanding boundaries very well, partly
Oh,
because either one, they are not upheld, or two, boundaries were constantly like moving.
yeah.
And it was like just like what is the boundary kind of thing.
Right. Maybe you never have even seen or witnessed a healthy boundary. And, I always tell parents too, like, I tell myself this because I'm a parent. Parenting is show, not tell. So if your parents said one thing, but they showed you something else, guess which one you learned, right? And we're all just being programmed in the early years of our lives. The brain's just a sponge soaking up whatever it witnesses and thinking those are the rules of life. And so, yeah, like change is hard work because of that, because the programming's set. And that's why I say baby steps, one day at a time, one breath at a time, and then practice, 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 because boundaries might be entirely new to you. So start with small ones and build.
Um, I'm moving in another direction because I saw that you like karaoke.
I do.
And
I love,
I love karaoke too. Um,
yeah.
what is it about karaoke that you love so much?
Well, I do love to be on the stage and perform. So I love to be on any stage. So, and I love to sing. And so karaoke gives me that outlet of like, I'm not going to go be a famous singer. I'm not going to audition for The Voice or whatever the new show is, because I don't want that life. And I want a glimmer of it, right? I want people out there watching me. I love attention. I love to perform and I love to make people happy. And my voice is decent. So, I can throw a good song out there and it's fun and there's no pressure. And that's what I originally loved about karaoke. And then I met my partner and we kind of fell in love over karaoke. We were friends for years and that was our thing. That's what we would do. I called him my karaoke buddy for years. But he really helped me embrace the imperfection of the performance. And so now I like to sing something that I'm not great at singing, that's more fun, that will stretch me out of my comfort zone. There's a theme in my life, right? Stepping out of my comfort zone so that I can stretch it. And that is now what I love. And frankly, now most karaoke is a little bit beyond my bedtime, but I'll still do it when I take an espresso at 5 p.m. and and have some friends who are willing to go do it with me. I used to do it all of the time. And then COVID hit and I went to bed early and that became my new habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so much fun. What do you love about karaoke?
I mean, kind of similar. Music is like so much fun, but also just like, I don't know, you just like, I just turn off like certain parts of my brain and you just like start just feeling it and, just get into the song and just be a ham. Like,
Yeah, it's so fun. And no, you don't have to be a good singer, people listening, to have fun at karaoke. Nobody is even expecting a really good singer at karaoke. So it's fun when we hear one.
yeah. Yeah, it's like they're like people are like pleasantly surprised. Like I am a decent singer, and so sometimes that also like strokes my ego, which I'm ashamed to say. Not ashamed, but like it's like kind of like, yeah, I kind of was like, thank you when someone does compliment you on your voice. You're like, thank you.
Yes, release the shame, embrace that moment of ego. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Um, what are some of your go-to songs? And unless you just don't have any go-to songs anymore
Oh no,
because
I totally
like
do. I totally do.
straight.
So I Do Right Woman, Do Right Man by Aretha Franklin. That is definitely my go-to. And then let's see, what else do I love? I have a whole list in my phone when I go blank and I'm like, what should I sing? Um, I really love to sing a lot of one-hit 80s wonders that nobody really remembers. And also White Wedding by Billy Idol.
Idol. Yeah. I definitely do a lot of 80s and 90s for sure.
Me too. I used to do like Olivia Newton-John, and now I'll try to be a little more current, because that was a long time ago when she was famous. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Aretha is always a go-to because everybody loves Aretha Franklin.
I mean, she's like the goat, right?
Right, right. And then I feel sassy when I sing that song and like, yeah, there's a little yeah with Aretha. It's a little shake your finger and shake your body and you're just like in it. So I love that. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Um, where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years?
Oh, I love that question. I usually will go about 5 years out because 10, I'm probably like retiring or just traveling the hell out of life, while I'm still young enough to do it and feel good about it.
Mhm.
Um, 5 years from now, I'd like to be on some bigger stages. I would like to have helped 10,000 people within 5 years. And I could go bigger with that number, but I feel like I can touch hands on 10,000 people and it not just be an audience of faceless faces.
Mhm.
I want to know the names of the people I work with, of the people that I touch. I want to recognize them on my social media. I want to see them in my local meetups. I want to have personal testimonials of working with them. So, like 5 years from now, 10,000 people feels really good to me. And, I could see here's the ego thing, which I now embrace and I love myself for. Because if it helps more people for me to get a little bit better known, then what harm is there in that? So I'd love to have like a little local celebrity, right? Like I'd love to be on I have a friend from my years in senior living. I used to have him come and perform. He's a magician and he's very funny. So he's like a funny musician or magician. And I'll see him on the local news morning show now and then. And he got to the point where he's even guest co-hosting once in a while. And I'm like, that's what I want. That I would love to be on the like Detroit morning news show to talk about happiness sometimes, or just co-host because that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like just like connecting with people. Like
Yeah, I
this
love to
by
connect
itself
with
is just
people.
fun. Is fun. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that your depth is still is important to you even with your big picture. It's not just about like width. It's not just like a million people, just to be the
Yeah.
biggest ever because you want some depth with the people that you could connect with. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad you asked that because that made that really clear to me. So thank you.
Yeah. Um, who are some people that you admire?
Mm. Uh, I tend to admire most the people I know in real life. Um, because I've been witness to their own journey. So one of the people I admire most in the world is one of my best friends. His name is Eric, and we met in college, and it was like, best friend love at first sight. And we still hang out today, and he works in probation with teens. And I love and admire him so much for the heart that he continues to put into his work, and then the self-care that he puts into himself so that he can continue to do that really important work. And he's also married to an amazing man, and they are like my ideal married couple. Like, I sat in the backseat of their car one time. We were going dancing, and I listened to them have an argument, but it was like the healthiest, most loving argument I'd ever heard. And that was when I was going through my divorce, and it gave me such hope for a future relationship for myself, which I now experience. So, like, that's a person I really, really admire. And then if we go bigger, Brene Brown, hands down, I freaking worship that woman. She's so smart. She's so vulnerable. That's what she studies, right? So she shares from her own experience. And every word she's ever written that I have read is just, oh, right to it. Yes, she gets to the depths of who we are as human beings, and the risks that we have to take if we want to live really fully in this life. So if I got to throw in a celebrity there, it's her. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that when she kind of came on the scene and like just started really talking about vulnerability,
Hmm.
I think that like really like opened so many people's eyes to be like, oh my goodness, like she's right. Like the people that
Yeah.
we are able to really connect with, you have to like be able to like put your true self out there, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you kind of get that like, this is too shiny. Like
Yeah,
this
like
looks like a
fake friendships. And
facade.
those aren't any fun. And that's that thing that we talked about at the beginning. Like, it takes putting out there even the parts of you that are a little bit dirtier, that you don't fully love or embrace, or maybe you don't even like them at all. If we're willing to share those with other people who have earned the right, to some extent,
Mhm.
then we get to experience real intimacy. And that's really cool. That, like, to me, that's everything. Like, when I can have a real deep conversation and show somebody the parts of me that I'm not proud of, and they still love me, that's life. That's the best.
Yeah, a lot of times people talk kind of about like, I feel like as people get older, a lot of times they feel like they have lost those kind of connections, and they'll look back at like when they were younger, like they're in college, and they had these deep conversations with people, and they were able to like really show themselves and be vulnerable, and then like life just kind of gets in the way, and they grow apart from people, and then they can't feel like they can make those connections again, and so they just kind of feel untethered and like lost in the world because it's like I miss that so much.
Yeah. We're not put in the same scenarios as when we're younger, where it's like we're thrown into a room with a bunch of people, and in there somewhere is going to be someone you connect with. But as we get older, that doesn't happen. We have to seek it out. And also, I think that a lot of the times we're trying to get back something that we used to have instead of creating something new.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a perspective shift that we can shoot for that helps us. And that's one of the reasons I actually started my meetup. It's local to the Detroit metro area. And I started it because I had moved home. I had just decided to stay back in Michigan from where I was in the UK for 2 years. I was leaving my marriage, and I had this wonderful supportive family, but as I mentioned, they don't necessarily think the way that I do. And I was like, I need friends. I need people who think like I do. So I'm going to create a meetup group, and just make a description of who I want to hang out with and invite them to come to me. And they did. And I'm still doing this 10 years later. And we come in vulnerable, and it is a group of mainly people who are in some form of transition in their lives. Maybe they're brand new to the area. Maybe they're freshly divorced. I get a lot of freshly divorced people. Maybe they're newly empty nesters or newly retired, some major transition, and they're like, what now? And also, I need friends because we all do. And so, this is where they come to really show up as they are, not as anybody expects them to be. And we're all there for the same reason. And so, the most beautiful friendships, in fact, I met my best friend in life at my own meetup. And it's so wonderful. So we have to really put ourselves out there as we are, not as we wish people see us or as we wish we were, but as we are. Just be who you are today, and someone's going to connect with that. But you also have to get out and put yourself into situations where you'll meet people, which is why I still love meetup.com. It's a great website for that very thing. There's somebody who does something you love to do. You can go and meet them, hang out, and maybe that'll be the best friend of your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and especially, I mean, going through like COVID and everything like that, people were so isolated that's like now it's like, oh, we need these meetups. We need like these in-person
Yes.
connections.
We totally do. I kept my meetup going all through COVID, and I did a couple of online versions, and it just, we were like, okay, well, this is better than nothing. But then I started just getting creative. And so we would meet in the park where we could physically distance, but socially connect. And so we kept finding different places where we could still meet and see each other in person. And if we were brave and we knew we were healthy, we could exchange a hug. And we need this more than ever. And well, I think I especially was like, oh, well, this digital life isn't so bad, But now, 4 years on, we all want more in-person touches. Like, I'm coming back to in-person retreats. I kept my meetup up this whole time. We need to put a hand on somebody's shoulder, look them in the eye, not through a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it matters. So, but we have to be willing to put ourselves out there too. And that can feel risky and uncomfortable, and it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember one of my like favorite memories of like lockdown was like it was my birthday, and I was just like, if anyone feels like brave enough to just come to a park and sit in like a kind of a big circle and just
Yeah.
talk to me in person. And like some of my friends like showed up, and I was just like so happy to see them. Like it was just like kind of like I missed you guys so much. Like it's been like months.
Yeah, we did some bonfires. My boyfriend and I, we live together now, but then we didn't. And so we would have driveway dates because I got COVID right at the beginning. So
Oh,
it was like weeks we couldn't be anywhere near each other. And so we literally would sit on the opposite ends of the driveway and just talk.
yeah. Um, I like to ask my guests, how do you define fun?
Fun. Anything that makes my heart light up and brings a smile to my face is fun for me. Usually there's laughter involved as well. But also sometimes fun is, I call these kind of deep conversations fun. I call really deep, painful work fun because I'm twisted in the most wonderful way. But fun really is anything that helps me feel free.
I mean, I completely agree with you about like, especially these conversations. I like this podcast isn't like making me wealthy or something like that. Like I'm doing it because I love just sitting down and having these conversations. Like it lights me up so much. It gets me like I might go into them sometimes being like, oh, like I just feeling tired or something like that. But as soon as I like log on and I see the other person, I'm like, yeah, like I walk away feeling so good. Like I I'm like, I'm doing this forever for free just because I love it.
I hear you because you meet so many cool people and hear so many interesting stories and have just the best conversations. It's so cool. I love it. I'm glad you find it fun because this is fun for me.
I also like to ask people what their play personality. According to the Institute of Play, there's 8 play personalities.
Oh,
There's the Joker, the kinesthetic, the competitor, the creative, storyteller, collector, director, and explorer.
I
Gracious.
didn't count, but
And
that's
you can be more than one.
okay. Tell me about the kinesthetic because that's the one that made me go, ooh.
Yeah. Any like if you just like you love the feeling of like dancing, moving your body, like kind of just being in like grounded in your body and like the things that you can do with it. I would
Mhm.
say that's what the kinesthetic is.
That's definitely one of mine. And then I'm probably also a director because I literally was a director of life enrichment for several years in senior living. And I'm the one who's going to be like, okay, let's do this thing. And this is what time it will happen. And this is, what you need to bring and what you need to bring and, or how you get to show up. And yeah, so I love planning. So definitely a director.
I
Yeah.
used to work in life enrichment in with people with dementia.
Oh yeah, that is so beautiful and so tough. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Good
Yeah,
work.
it was definitely like, oh, like so draining. So many
Oh
days
my
I was
God.
just like, oh my goodness, these people like just break
Yeah,
my heart.
I know.
But
And yet
also
then
like
there's
so
like
beautiful.
that one moment when they remember you or they like remember a thing and it's just like, yes. I did the full suite first and then I worked in independent living, which was way more fun. Um, and yeah, just it's such a good time. And so like in the heart. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was like certain people would just like always light up every time they saw you, even if they didn't know your name because they don't remember your name. And it's just like it made you feel so like so connected to people.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. It was like a weird thing. Like how do I feel more connected to people now?
Because that's like the essence of them, like sparking up. And so much of them is not there. And then when you see that little light pop on, it's like, oh, yeah, like our hearts just met, right? And of course, if you like karaoke, maybe you love the sing alongs like I did. And
Mhm.
that was the best, right? When they didn't speak and then they'd be singing all the words to the songs. Like, that was the best. I mean, I love the power of music.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. What makes you feel luxurious?
Oh. I love a really fine dinner, like in a nice restaurant where the waiters don't even tell me their names and there's no prices on the menu and I'm not paying. Uh, and I get to enjoy like a really good glass of wine and a delicious whatever I choose to eat. And it's just all delicious, the whole experience of it.
Yeah, I'm such a big fan of food. Food is like one of the greatest pleasures in the world, you know?
It really is. And I'm bougie about my food. I was married to a French guy for 15 years, 16 legally. So like I enjoyed some amazing food all over the world and I cherish that. Like I love really good food and fine dining experiences. And it's not like you do it every day, so it feels extra special when you do.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite smells? Like what makes you feel like good?
Christmas trees. Um I really like jasmine incense.
Mm.
Um fresh baked bread, even though I can't eat the gluten anymore. And like a crisp morning air. no matter what season it is. A campfire, but I don't want to be in it, but I want to smell it and freshly cut grass.
Sounds good. When's the last time you laughed so hard that it hurt?
Yeah. I feel like my kid is over here crocheting, and I feel like we laughed so hard that I hurt. And I don't even remember what it was, but it was probably me like messing up my words or not knowing a thing. And it just was so fun. I can remember the moment. I can't remember what it was about, but we laughed so hard. I laughed so hard I couldn't speak. And I love to laugh. So, yeah, don't remember what it was about, but doesn't even matter because I remember the feeling.
I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't matter what it's about. Like, how often do you like someone like be you can have this conversation with someone and it's just like it doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it
matter what
doesn't
it was
matter.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a cat or a dog person?
I'm a cat person and I have dogs.
Hmm.
I
That
have cats
yeah.
too. I'm definitely a cat person.
Yeah. What brought cats and dogs into your life?
I grew up with both, but they were always outside pets because my sister had really severe asthma.
Mm.
And then when I went to college, as soon as I had an apartment and a roommate amiable to having a cat, we got a cat. And then I have always had cats ever since. And anywhere I've moved, um, except for in the UK, where we rented a furnished house and we couldn't have pets, I got a cat like almost immediately because cats are easy. They're
Mhm.
easier to transport. You can leave them alone. They pretty much take care of themselves and then they snuggle with you when they want to. And that I love an independent person. I love an independent animal.
Yeah. Yeah, I've grown to like dogs as I've like I was always a cat person. And then I've grown because we always had cats. And then I've grown to like dogs because they're just so like they have the best hearts, like they're the most loyal creatures. And but I don't necessarily want to have a dog because there's so much more work.
So much more work. And like currently, we have a hound dog that was a rescue, and that dog came with my partner and my too many cats, four cats, and little dog, a rat terrier, came with my kids and me. And I was used to a little dog that's pretty much thought she was a cat until she met the bigger dog. And then was easier to take care of, like the little dog. Plus, the big dog, yeah, like a cat. But she went back and forth with my kids, to dad's house, back to my house, back. But this dog I always have, and she's big and she's slobbery, and somebody always has to take care of her. And she's like really attached to people. So sometimes she doesn't behave very well when she's left behind. And so it's like, this dog is such a nuisance. Look at my cats. They just do their thing. They're just fine.
Yeah.
So easy. So yes, yeah, I'm definitely a cat person, but I really love other people's dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what's your dream vacation?
Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, I get to go to a lot of cool places and have fun vacations. And my dream, though, here's one I haven't done and I want to. So my current dream, well, I have two. This is tricky. Current number one dream vacation is like the Greek Isles in the sun, just total luxury. The second one that came to mind was I want to just like go all over in the hills of Ireland.
Mhm.
Just see all the green and explore and maybe find some fairies and things. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little magic and a little luxury. Those are my two dreams right now. Man, I've had some great vacations.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite places you've been?
Um, so most recently, I spent almost a week in France for the first time ever without a French person. And so that was really fun. And I remembered like how much I love to just wander around and like I never feel lost. I'm just like, I don't know where I am, but this is cool. Let's see where this goes. And I got to practice my French a little. And That was really fun. So that was a work trip for my partner, but I just went and I worked a little while I was there, but mostly I went off and explored a part of France I'd never been to. So that was amazing. I went on a cruise for the first time last year, and that was really fun. I didn't know how I would feel about it, if I would love it or hate it, but I loved it. Loved it. It was so much fun. I couldn't do that every year. That's a lot of partying that I'm not prepared to do on a regular basis. And of course, it doesn't have to be, but it was for us. And then let me think of like France comes up a lot. I've had a lot of good vacations in France. But you know what? Honestly, my favorite place in the world is probably still the place we went to throughout my entire childhood, camping in the mountains of the Sequoia National Forest. Like if I had to recreate a vacation that isn't necessarily totally available to me anymore, it would be that. I want to go back to the mountains, California. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds just peaceful.
Yes, exactly the word that was in my head. You hear the river. We slept outside under the stars, and there were so many stars. And oh gosh, it's just like those were the best vacations of my life.
Um, hmm, what's your favorite season?
This has changed like the seasons do. When I was a kid, it was fully autumn. I loved the cool air and I love the changing of the leaves and I love being able to put on a fuzzy sweater. And now as I'm older, it is fully summer. I love summer. I love to be warm. I love to get outside and be in the sun and watch my garden grow and get my hands in the dirt. And then I love to get on the lake and float around. So summer is fully my favorite season right now. And I just wish it lasted longer in Michigan.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear you. Um, Basically around here, I'm in the Seattle area.
Okay.
Um, we get a lot of gray.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when it's not gray, I feel so good.
Yeah, I don't know if
And
I
that's
could do
summer.
as much gray and rain as you have. That's a lot. Although I was only in Seattle for like 3 days several years ago, and it was like great weather. It was sunny. It was beautiful, and I was like, "What? This isn't the Seattle of Sleepless in Seattle." This is
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We have like the most amazing summers. Although right now we're having smoke, so it's gray
Oh,
actually. But our summers generally are like so amazing and so beautiful. And it's like the reason that people stay here despite the fact that it's like gray
yeah,
like 75% of the year.
right. Michigan summers are one of the reasons why we stay in Michigan too, because like it is cold for a long time, and it's not just gray and rainy; it's like white and freezing for months. So, but the summers like make it all worth it because we don't even want to go anywhere in the summer because we just want to be in Michigan. There's so much fun and unless it gets over 85 degrees, my windows are open and or it's pouring rain and we have to close them. Uh, I love being warm. I love the sun. Yeah, I love it. I love the fun of summer.
Yeah. Do you get thunderstorms where you are?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
summer thunderstorms?
Yeah, we've had some good
Sure.
ones this year too.
Exciting.
And they are electricity. Yeah, they're very fun. We love a good thunderstorm, and we've had really good ones this year. There were some years where I was like, "What happened to all the good thunderstorms?" And they're back.
Nice, nice. Because we don't get summer thunderstorms
We
very
just get
much.
the
And so like
rain.
just like the idea of them makes me like really excited.
Yeah, last year we lost power for a couple of days during an exciting summer thunderstorm. This year, did we lose power? We lost maybe for a few hours. But they and we have huge windows, so we could see a lot and over the lake. And it's just they're very exciting thunderstorms. And you're like, please don't let the power go out.
Sure.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
does, doesn't. That's part of the excitement, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because then you can feel like you're camping in your house, right?
Right. Yes. So much fun.
Okay. One more question.
Okay.
Um, hmm. If you could talk to your younger self, what's the number one thing you would say to her?
How young?
Um, 18.
Okay, 18. This is a tough question for me because a huge part of my life is being so grateful with everything that I've experienced and not wanting to change a second of it because I really love my life and who I am today.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, if I talk to my 18-year-old self, I might tell her something that will mess up everything because I might avoid some pain, but then I might not land in this state of pleasure.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe I'd tell her just like, mm, take care of your knees. This is pretty mundane, but I had knee surgery, like an ACL replacement at 21.
Wow.
Maybe don't do the Muppet impression after you've had a couple of drinks. That is what I want my 18-year-old self to know.
I mean, that's like, yeah, I would say that would not change the whole trajectory,
Right?
but
That
also
would just,
important.
yeah, it would just have a better knee for the next, 30 years of my life. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's really young to have that kind of surgery, I feel like.
I know hyperflexibility is not always a gift. So
Mm, yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on. It was absolutely delightful to talk to you.
really nice to talk to you too. I love this. This was fun. I really love watching you like draw up the questions and not just read from a list that you've
You,
pre-written. That was cool.
yeah, I mean, I have like a bunch of like just random questions, but like I'm like, I want to pick the exact right one. And sometimes it's not even in front of me. Um, and so like I really didn't have any questions like completely planned.
I love that. I love that because this is what made it fun. It was fun to just watch you like and wait for the question you were going to ask next. So this was really fun. This was a delightful. This is one of my favorite podcast interviews in quite some time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Where can the audience find you?
My name's pretty unique. So really, you put it in a search engine, you're going to find me somewhere, probably Facebook. But my website is alifeyoulovenow.com. I play a lot on Facebook and Instagram, and sometimes I show up on YouTube. So there's a good bunch of stock videos on YouTube that I haven't done anything new in a while, but they're there. But really, I'm playing a lot on Facebook and Instagram. So come hang out with me. Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Thanks
you.
again for
Thank
being
you.
on and have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.